And we are back. We're back in another lovely segment right here on Unity Live Radio. We are going over to USA, South Carolina to be specific. We have with us a phenomenal woman. She is indeed a minister, a book author, a life coach, and a mentor. But that's all I will say for now. I will have her do the rest. We welcome no other than the lady Jennifer Rash with us today. We welcome you, Jennifer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So excited to be with you today.
I am excited myself, and I've looked at your portfolio and I'm just impressed. But before we get to it, can you tell us a little bit more about who Jennifer Rash is?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I am a wife. I've been married for 34 years, mother of three sons, three grown sons, and two beautiful grandchildren. But I am a writer and author. And as you said, I am a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Beautiful. We don't have a lot of women, ministers these days. They often shy back or, never get too very far, but you've been in the business for 33 years based on your information. So I want to know, Jennifer, what made you choose women ministry? Because I've noticed this is the only line that you flow in throughout your ministry.
Well, my husband and I have pastored for many years. We're a team, but my heartbeat is women's ministry. I see their struggles. I identify with their struggles as I work with women in whatever arena, whether it's a church setting, women's groups, whether it's in retreats or conferences. I see their struggles. I identify with their struggles, and I so much want to see them just whole and healed and free and walking in victory and even experiencing deep joy in spite of all of the difficulties and challenges they face every day.
Wow, and that is a true passion. I mean, based on how you say it, I can just see the passion in your voice and how this is really the call for you because without love and passion, you can't really reach these people, right? And thank you so much for sharing. Now, what has been your most memorable part of being a minister throughout the journey? What could you never forget?
I think what I can never forget are the number of times where we have seen not just women, but men, just people experiencing such freedom and just even seeing the transformations, hearing the testimonies of freedom and transforming, the transforming power of Christ being demonstrated in their hearts and lives.
Wow,
Truly,
beautiful.
unforgettable.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Now you're an author and you've done a beautiful work recently. But when did you first decided that, you were going to write? When was your first step?
I've been writing for a really long time, and I think it really began to develop more into really writing the messages, writing the sermons, and even writing curriculum to be used in classrooms. But it's really been in the last 5 or 6 years that, I have really been impressed to publish and release those things outside of my circles and into the public and just sharing things with the world.
Beautiful, awesome. Now let's get to the book. What was the name of your recent release and what is the inspiration behind this one?
All right. So I'm so excited about my latest release. It's entitled Unstuck. I have found the recipe for being happy. And it's based on Paul's words in Philippians when he said, I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. Or as the Message Bible so beautifully puts it, I found the recipe for being happy. And that is saying so much coming from a man like Paul, who was up under so much, endured so much, navigated through so much, and handled so much. And yet in the midst of it all, persecution, hardships, need, in the midst of it all, he was able to experience deep inner contentment, deep satisfaction, and even happiness in spite of it all. And so, I think this is really relatable to us all today. We can relate to it in one way or another. In fact, studies today tell us that 76, let me get this right, 76% of all people feel stuck in their personal lives in one way or another, and only 3 out of 10 people are happy. And I see this all around me all the time. I see all people, and you may see it too, just struggling, trying to navigate through one difficulty after another, wrestling through one trial after another in their lives, and just kind of stuck in the pit of discouragement. You see people today, especially today, wrestling with things like depression, anxiety, and they need hope, and they really truly need healing, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And so I think this book was inspired out of that, watching these struggles, and also, folks just being able to relate to that, and to understand that whether you feel stuck in your past, stuck in your pain, stuck in maybe your disappointments, or even stuck in your circumstances, unable to see a way out, that real happiness and this contentment and this inner satisfaction that Paul was talking about is not based on outward circumstances, but it must have an inner source, and that source is Christ. And today he's calling to us. He's telling us, come sit at my feet, drink from my cup, feast at my table, and allow me to fill you and satisfy you like no one and nothing else can. And let me just come and receive from me all that you have need of.
Amen.
That's the inspiration.
Amen.
That's the message. And even in the spite of what we're dealing with day after day after day, like Paul, we can learn. Paul said, I have learned to be content. We can learn too how, even in the midst of it all, to walk in that joy and that happiness. Because Tracey, circumstances change. Sometimes they don't change.
Exactly.
And we need to learn how to be happy. We need to learn how to live our best lives now in spite of it.
Wow, I believe you're on a beautiful path, Jennifer, because this scripture has been known to many for so long, but honestly, personally, I've never looked at it from that perspective, in saying this, okay, whatever you're going through, just keep going, keep moving, don't stay in one place. And recently we've been on a topic with our ministry here, our radio ministry, about captivity and how to survive in captivity. And I mean, you're like telling me the same thing, but except in another, explanation. And I just believe that this is God, and I thank you for this testimony. I also noticed, Jennifer, that you does companion journal, which is another one from this book, I would assume. Can you tell us a little bit about this journal?
Yes. When I got a hold of that scripture in the Message version that said, I found the recipe for being happy, I just felt like God was speaking to me, saying, begin to write scriptures down on recipe cards, because the Bible is full of recipes for success and happiness, isn't it? And so I just kind of ran with that theme. We had fun with it in some of the women's Bible study groups that I was, leading. And so, you can see the cover of even the main book is the table setting, come and dine with me, And so the companion journal, follows that same theme. It's sort of like a cookbook theme, where we're taking notes, recipes, that God is downloading in our spirits, for that success and happiness. And so it's for those people, women especially, they love to journal. They're note takers. And, just if you're that person who gets the most out of your study time by journaling your thoughts, whatever, you feel like the Lord is speaking to you about, that's for you.
Wow, this is interesting. Another beautiful inspiration. I hope our listeners are paying attention, because you're giving us clues in really how to keep going. And this is just beautiful, Jennifer. All right, now I want you to give one advice to our woman today, because this is your thing, this is your field. And of course, we don't have a lot of encouragement in this season. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to give one advice to our listeners today.
I think that one piece of advice, honestly, is just get into the presence of God every single day. Don't say, I don't have time. I'm too busy. I'm so overwhelmed. You can't afford not to get in his presence. You've got to have that time, that downtime, that time of solitude where you get in his presence, you read his word, and you listen to his voice.
Beautiful. Now, if we want to get your books, and I'm sure as a mentor, person might want your services, and of course, possibly book you for a show, how can we reach you and where can we go to get these services?
Okay. Well, you can find my books at I'm on Amazon, of course, but you can also find my books and other resources at jenniferrash.com. And you can connect with me there. Also, Jennifer Rash Ministries at gmail.com. You can email me, but you'll find anything you need on my website at jenniferrash.com.
Just fabulous. Now, I'm going to give you the privilege to give us some acknowledgement. Maybe there are some persons on the journey with you. You'd probably wanted to give a shout out or to a few thank yous. Who would you like to acknowledge before you go?
Sure, that one person has got to be my husband, my soulmate, Gary. We've been married for 34 years, and what a journey we have been on together. Wow, and the things we've experienced together. But he, more so than anyone else, is my greatest encourager. And, you know, we have a lot of critics, but we don't have enough encouragers in our lives. And my husband, more so than any other person, is my encourager. He encourages me and he supports me in anything, you know, that I set my heart upon, anything, you know, that I feel like the Lord is urging me or prompting me or speaking to me, stirring me to do. He, more so than anybody else, will encourage me to go forward and to press forward. So I just give him
Beautiful.
that acknowledgement
All
today.
right. Good job, hubby, for being a great support with her. Wherever you are, if you're listening, we shout you out. So thank you so much, Jennifer. You were a blessing, and I would love to have you back in the near future. Let's see. All right. So listeners, there you have it. The beautiful Jennifer Rash over there in USA. She was here with us all the way from South Carolina as a book author, a mentor, a minister, and of course, a life coach. You need some motivation, find her. She is strictly for the women ministries. So find her and she will be there for you. Thank you, Jennifer. Have a wonderful one. It was a pleasure having you with us on the Lady Tracey Show.
Pleasure having me.
All right.